All right, Racers Elite fans, ladies and gentlemen out there, want to thank you and welcome back for another Wednesday night special as we have the Xfinity cars going to turn some laps here around New Hampshire. I am your broadcaster, John Ross. I am joined in the booth with Mr. Russ Martin. Russ, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing not doing too bad, John. Pretty excited to watch these Xfinity cars flinging around this mile oval here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, and as you can tell, folks, you can see right there on the screen, we have a nice 68-degree temperature outside, but that track is a different story. I don't see very many clouds in the sky. 101 degrees. That is going to make this 1 mile short track extremely slick. We got a couple of things to talk about as we're going to look through the track, what to look for and what we can expect. But what I really want to do here is go over some of the points that we've got, and I'm going to try to hide this right here so we can pop up our points, because right now with the Xfinity Series, now remember, we only have a couple of races before our chase is going to start. Holding down the number one spot, Sean Dunaway is still first with 2 wins so far on the season. Andrew Teff not that far behind here with 2 wins on the season as well. Honeycutt has a win. You got Jacob in 4th. Slaussen's going to be in 5th. Truth in 6th. Lee Campbell in 7th. 8th is going to be Cody. Alex Teft in 9th. Sean is in 10th. 11th is Jarrett, and then Wayne Scott is going to be rounding out your top 12 that will make it to the chase. So got a couple of DNFs that's going to happen tonight here, Russ, but man, I'm really looking forward to this short track race.
Yeah, for sure. You know, New Hampshire can sometimes deal out some really good races, and sometimes it could deal out some pretty catastrophic races. You know, like you said, this track temp's getting up there a little bit, over 100 degrees. Going to make it a little bit of a slick racing surface, a little too quick to the throttle on corner exit. It'd be really easy to loop these cars.
Yes, it will, and as we get fired up and as they go through some of the qualifying, and we're going to see if we can't show that now on the tower that's going to be on the left-hand side. 2.5 minutes left here in qualifying, but a couple of things. You know, they did that repave in both turns, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but this is what we would consider to be a low banking track here in oval, which is that very bottom side, the first 2 lanes, and you can see them there by the white dash marks on the very bottom of the track. Those first 2 lanes definitely flatter than the 3rd and 4th lane up. I do believe that you're going to see a lot of those drivers running that 3rd and 4th lane as we go through this thing tonight, and start to look for one of 2 things here, Russ. The cars early on, I believe, are going to push pretty hard and get right up close to that wall on the exit of 2 and the exit of 4. And they're also, a little bit later on in the run, that right rear is going to come out and start to get snappy loose on them. So what will be a tight condition on these cars is quickly going to turn into a loose condition as they put some laps on these tires.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and then you try to run the bottom, you know, which is usually the preferred line. You know, sometimes that could be even slicker. I'm almost willing to bet we won't see anybody really hugging that bottom line at all. There'll probably be a lane or 2 up from the bottom. Just try to conserve those tires, because this place can also burn your tires up too if you push it too hard.
Yeah, with the new model that we have for debris as well, you're going to start to see, as you can see now out on the track, Russ, in between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 as the 80 car here going to go into 3 and 4, you can start to see that rubber up on the high line, and that's really where a lot of these drivers are going to run. That makes those cars really have 0 turn through the apex and on the exit. So you're going to see a lot of cars getting into that wall because they're getting up in that marbles, because they prefer that higher line.
Yeah, you know, we just saw the 80 do that coming out of turn 4 there. You know, he was running that high line on exit on his qualifying lap, and just got a little piece of the wall there on exit because he got tight on that exit and pushed right up into it a little bit.
Yeah, so as we got about 20 seconds left, I kind of want to call out a couple of the drivers that, number one, I have raced against. 2, I know are going to be very, very good on these flat short tracks. So you have the usual suspects in Honeycutt, and you had a great win by Andrew Teft last night, kind of on a short track, just like this in the trucks. So at IRP, so you always got to look out for those guys. You do have your points leader there in 4th, but the one guy that I think that no one can sleep on tonight is the guy that's sitting on your pole right now, now, and that is Truth Hoke. Truth, no matter what vehicle he is in, seems to take to these flat tracks. And I don't think that you're going to see anything different as we go 120 laps around this circuit. So that is my pick for tonight. Russ, who do you have?
Well, looking through, like you said, you really can't cut out Brandon Honeycutt. He usually always finds himself a way to be up front towards the end of this. And Andrew Teft, he's been on a tear lately. He's been running up front, been running really well, and he even told me tonight, pre-race, something about these flat tracks that he really takes to. So you could always keep an eye out on him. So I would say either Brandon Honeycutt or Andrew Teft, absolutely.
All right. So as you can look, we're going to go over your starting lineup for these 15 drivers that are going to take your green flag tonight at New Hampshire. That is going to be Truth Hoke sitting on the pole. Honeycutt, that you just mentioned, is going to be on his outside. Cody is going to be third. Sean Dunaway, your points leader, is going to start fourth. Andrew Teft in fifth. That was last night's winner in the trucks. Aaron Marquis in sixth. Sean Merriman in seventh. Cooper is going to be eighth. Ecker in ninth. And Jesse Fox round out your top 10.
Yeah, and Lee Campbell is going to start in P11. Matthew Jarrett is going to start on next to him. Kirby Wainscott and Aaron Roth going to make up that last row, followed by Ryan Coker, who's going to running out the field.
So there you have it, folks. That is your top 15 drivers. We're going to pop up that NASCAR tower just a little bit, again, so that you can see that. You're going to see that on the left-hand side of your screen as well. We're going to have a battle box here on the bottom right of your screen. And what that is going to tell you is those drivers that we are highlighting, they will be in yellow, and you'll be able to tell the difference that they have from the position in front and behind them. So as you've got it, we're going to stack this thing up 120 laps. They do have a fast repair in this series. 120 laps, New Hampshire. We've got some great shots for you tonight, and one of those is going to be a great shot from the front stretch and from this starter cam. As you can see, those drivers starting to warm their tires up, Russ. It is just about go time here with a couple of races to go before the chase.
Yeah, these guys are getting ready to battle it out, trying to take a shot at making the championship chase, and they're coming out of four ready to take the green flag here, John.
Yeah, here you go. Truth Hoke, and that 55 machine is going to take this green flag, and there he goes. As you can hear, up on loud pedal, Brandon Honeycutt on that preferred line, what I would consider to be that preferred line on the outside. You know that he is going to try to push pretty hard and get that lead early. I do know that Truth is one of those guys that likes to settle and let his tires come in. And here you go. Truth is going to take the lead. Truth is going to take the lead here. I appreciate that. I appreciate that call out there in YouTube, because we did have those points still up. So I believe we are good to go now. I appreciate that. Truth is going to take a pretty solid lead here, up to about a half a second out in front of Brandon Honeycutt. And it does look like we've got a driver that turned hard left again on the exit of 4, getting loose. It did not bring out the caution. So we stay green. As it looks like here, we are going to have a battle for your second place.
Yeah, Truth Hoke got a great start out of this race, and he's starting to check out. He's up by almost a second now over Brandon Honeycutt. These guys are they're starting to fight it out already early on in this race.
Yeah, everybody trying to find the position that they want to run in to settle in and let those tires come in and come up to temperature. Brandon Honeycutt holding on to that second position right now. Sean Dunaway really wanting it, running about a half a lane lower than what Brandon is on the entry, allowing that car to come up to the top. But as we say that, Cody is going to start looking underneath of Sean for that third position.
Yeah, I got a great battle going on for P3 right there between Sean and the 19.
Yeah, you can see that 19 is trying to make the most of those tires right now, and that's one of those things you have to get out of this track is, if you're going to run that lower line where the 19 car is doing it, do it now while you still have a lot of tread left on those tires, because once that starts to wear down, it's going to become harder and harder and harder to pass.
Yeah, it's going to get a little tight, a little pushy, and trying to make a pass when your tire is tight and doesn't want to turn is not fun. You can very easily push up into that car if you're on the inside of them.
Oh, and loose he comes on the exit of that turn. So you can tell he is really pushing pretty hard. He wants that position. As we're going to go back here just a little bit further and look at Aaron Marquis is going to push that 30 car just a little high and wide going into the exit of that turn. Put this 41 machine up another position in the sixth.
Guys are fighting for position starting this race out, and trying to get themselves as many spots as they can before they have to start really paying attention to that tire wear.
Yeah, I do believe that is what we're seeing right now. Jesse Fox, one of your faster drivers here in practice. So look for this machine to start working his way forward as he is going to start working on the back end of that 30 car. But again, you're going to see a lot of comers and goers. And now Curtis Ecker, he is in a battle with Sean Merriman here for your 9th position. And it looks like Curtis is going to be able to hang on to that. So you can start to see this come in already, Russ, where that high line, as they're following kind of nose to tail, really the more dominant line. It's just a great drive on the exit of that turn. So you either got to get it early or you got to wait for these tires to wear out and try to take advantage once you get a little wear on them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these tracks like this here, you know, if you're gonna get your passes done, you got to make them early, because as these tires start wearing out, like you said, you know, you're going to be up there on that high side trying to manage this tire wear, and going to make it a little harder to make passes later on down the line.
Yeah, Sean is going to dive below Curtis once again, trying to get that position. He had a great run coming down that straightaway, is going to try to diamond that turn and get a good run off. He is going to make that and clear Curtis, take that position over, but don't look now, because the 80 car now starting to breathe down the back bumper of Curtis, so he wants that position.
Yeah, they're fighting, they're pushing. I mean, you know, we're 10 laps in, coming to 10 laps into this race, and really, you know, there really hasn't been too many big movers. I mean, I see a couple of guys have gained 1 or 2 spots, but for the most part, you know, the way they run is the way that they lined up. So just a testament to how difficult it is to make passes here early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to go back up here to the front, because it looks like Truth Hogue has really found something early on in this race, up 1.7 seconds over Honeycutt. It looks like Cody was able to snag the 3rd place, and he's going to start really putting a lot of pressure on Brandon for that 2nd position. So again, trying to make the most of those tires, as we are now 10 laps in. I don't think you're going to start seeing that wear till about 15 in to 20 in. So he is still trying to get what he can. Let's see if we can go on board with Cody. Just really want to see how he's trying to navigate this. And what we're looking for, folks, is that orange stripe that you see on that wheel. We want to see really how hard he's having to work that and get that car over. We don't want to see it go over 45 degrees, and he is not doing that. Really nice and patient on the throttle. And Russ, I'm going to be quiet, and we're just going to take a listen to how Cody's navigating this track. Yeah, so Cody, just a lot of time off throttle. I can tell you, just on the entry, really getting a quite a bit of a nose shove there, where he's either having to turn that wheel a little bit harder, as he's going to take a dive down here to the bottom to get a little bit better run. And you can see how loose he gets. So these cars just a handful tonight. As it looks like Honeycutt is now going to be getting just a little bit of space between him and the 19 car, as he looks to try to track down Truth, who now looks like just about holding serve here with Honeycutt.
Yeah, you know, he's found something early on in this race, and you know, like you said at the beginning of the broadcast, you know, he finds something with these flatter tracks, and he's definitely showing that right now. I mean, out to a 1.8 second lead over Brandon Honeycutt there in second. And he's just running a nice smooth line, running about that 3rd lane up off the bottom, up to the 4th. he's just running his own line, running his own race at this point, and he's checking out.
Yeah, I think what you have to do, as it does look like Honeycutt starting to put a little bit of starting to chew into that lead. He's right now 1.75. Let's take a look at our last lap speed. He was just a little bit quicker. Cody even a little bit faster than what Brandon Honeycutt is. It looks like this battle for second is going to continue to wage on as we go through. We are now 15 laps in, and you can still see that 19 car just really getting into the turn hard and struggling a little bit right in the apex as Brandon's able to pick up that throttle a little bit sooner. So I do think that 19 pushing a little bit harder than what Brandon Honeycutt is right now, and that could pay dividends for Honeycutt as we go through this run.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could be a factor of the line that the 19 there is running. I mean, he's having to put just a little bit more wheel input into it, running on that bottom side, and maybe he's starting to burn them tires up already. We're on lap 16 already, so it's very possible he may already start seeing some tire wear. You just see him little clock the wall just a little bit there on exit. Maybe he's already starting to see a little tire wear and kind of hurting him in these corners.
Yeah, and as you can tell, and you're going to see that as we go along here, because even though you have a lot of grip early on, that will really start to be evident how you treated that right front tire as we start to see these cars exit turn 2, exit turn 4, and they're going to get closer and closer and closer to that wall. And again, I think when you have to put a little bit more left wheel in it to get it to come out away from that wall, you're going to start to see a snapping loose condition as now it looks like Sean Dunaway starting to put some pressure on these drivers as it looks like he was a little bit more patient with his tires. We go back here to last night's winner in the Truck Series, and Andrew Teft. He knows how to get around these short tracks, and he is right now in 5th position. Again, I do believe these drivers from about 3rd through 6th being very patient with their tires, trying to get the car to come in and see where they land here in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, like you said, Andrew had a really good run last night at IRP in the trucks, and he found his line early. He settled in, kind of like what Truth is doing right now, and he never looked back. He got a lucky break towards the end of the race, after green flag pit stops, and he never looked back after that. So he definitely knows how to get it done on the short tracks. Knows how to run these flatter tracks. Like I said, these guys are saving tires back here, so see if they start making headway as these laps wind down.
Yeah, you can see now, Sean, I mean, you can just see them kind of nose to tail, really this entire field really tight to one another. You've got Kirby that is a little bit further back, but this entire field really tight. Showing that these cars are a handful. We were on board with Cody, and you can tell they're really loose off. You have to watch your throttle on exit. They're really loose in the center of these turns, and they're kind of pushy on the entry. So New Hampshire is proving to be, as you can see, Andrew Teft really getting a little bit sideways on the exit of that turn as well.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the scoring tower, and it looks like Honeycutt's starting to make just a little bit of headway on Truth Hoke here at 21 laps in. He knocked about a quarter of a second off that gap.
He really has, and you can tell that he's knocked about a tenth, 2 tenths off. Since Truth, it looked like stretched it out to about a 1.8 second lead. So we'll continue to keep our eye on that, as now we're going to come back here and we're going to watch Cooper and Lee, Curtis Ecker right there, fighting over this same piece of real estate. Jesse Fox in that 69 car right in front of them. So 7th, 8th, 9th, really tight with each other. That 30 machine needs sponsor on it. Trying to hold that outside. Jesse Fox, I believe your faster car here at this point, trying to find a way around. And it looks like Lee may be sticking his nose in here to go to 3 wide.
Oh, incredible racing going on right now. These guys are 23 laps in, and they're not holding anything back right now. They want this real estate, and they want it now.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I do believe they'll probably try to split this if this does go green. from flag to flag. They'll try to split it. Oh, as you can see now, the 30 car really, like we talked about earlier, getting into the wall. There is some pretty serious right front damage on this 30 machine. Now, as we come around, you can see that tire starting to poke out. That 30 machine getting into the wall, some pretty serious damage. I don't believe that's going to hurt him a whole lot here on this short track, but there it is. You know, that pushy condition really biting him on the exit of that turn.
Yeah, absolutely. One little hit may not do too much, but a few of those little hits may end up doing more damage than good.
Yeah, and they are not done. They are not done, Russ, hitting that wall. Curtis Ecker in front of him touching that wall. The 30 car again touching that wall. So he has got a handful with that machine, as it does look like he's going to start struggling with some heat in that right front tire, getting right out there against the wall. He is able to hold off this 30 machine, but it will not be long, I think. I'm sorry, able to hold off the 80. It won't be long before you start to see the 30 struggle a little more on the exit of these turns. You can see him now getting a little loose.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting that car at this point.
Yeah, Truth now starting to look at some lapped traffic as they are going to pull down to the inside. Pretty heavy damage on Kirby's car. Truth going to sneak his way around, put one car between him and Honeycutt. And Russ, he might need to do that, as Honeycutt is now down to a 1.2 second gap between him and Truth.
Yeah, you know, like I said earlier, you can never count Honeycutt out, and you know, maybe he saved just a little bit of extra tire here in the first little stage. Oh, Truth is in the wall there.
Yeah, these cars, again, just getting tight on the exit. Truth touching the wall. No harm, no foul. I do not see any damage on the right-hand side of that car. And again, Honeycutt navigating traffic. And I will tell you that this is a really easy track to get through traffic as far as short tracks go, in the fact that these drivers with the blue flag can stick down at the bottom and allow these drivers to take that preferred line on the outside. But you can see Truth starting to struggle on the entry of these turns, which is something we haven't seen on a car yet to date. So let's go on board with Truth. You can see really getting off of the throttle and on, as you can see that car just really pushing up. So he is having some pretty major right front issues as he's soft in and that car pushing up about 3 lanes before he's able to get back on the throttle.
Yeah, just getting a little push earlier on. He's having to put just a little bit more wheel into it, make that thing turn and hook the corner. But it's gonna wear that right front just a little bit more and a little bit more. He's gonna really have his hands full here for too long.
Yeah, and it does look like he is okay in 1 and 2, but as we talked about before, folks, we are looking for that orange stripe not to go over that 45-degree mark, and you see Truth having to really push that wheel a little bit over further past what we want to see, which tells you that he's got a little bit more of a right front wear than what he wants, as now down to just a second here with Honeycutt. Now, not very far behind Honeycutt is that 19 car Cody, not allowing the 13 to get too far in front of him. He is still nose to tail fighting for that second position.
Yeah, he's definitely not giving up. He's trying to make Brandon run a little bit harder than maybe Brandon wants to, if he can get him to use up some of his tire.
Yeah, it's always a pain to run offense and defense at the same time. Cody is getting into these turns fantastic. Really has a nice line. He's allowing the car to wash all the way up. Whoa, you can see him just, and again, that's just getting onto the throttle just a touch too soon, and getting loose and having to really crank that wheel. But it doesn't matter. It looks like he's done a great job saving. Sean Dunaway not too far behind these two drivers in 4th position, and he's just watching this fight. They start to go side by side, Rush. You're going to have a 3-way battle for second.
Oh, absolutely. These guys get side by side, slows them down just a little bit, put Sean right in the battle.
Yeah, and you know, we could have a 4-way battle here for the lead very soon, as do not look now, but even Andrew Teff starting to catch them. Sean Merriman right behind Andrew, so everybody's starting to accordion back to themselves as we get about 32 laps in, coming to 33 laps in to this race. Whoa, the 19 car on the exit of that turn. You can tell how hard Cody is driving this vehicle. Wow, what an impressive save by that 19 driver.
Yeah, he didn't lose much time doing it either. I mean, he lost a little bit, but he didn't lose much time.
Andrew Teff still being stalked. And it looks like now this is starting to tighten up just a little bit. Now this 41 car um, is not a car that is on that. Okay, so this is fresh tires on the 41. As you can see now, Andrew just having to let him go. But the 18 car is Sean. It looks like he got by Andrew. Now he's going to take over the 5th position. Andrew goes back to 6th. Right back up front, Russ, we have a battle for the lead. 2/10 is going to separate these two drivers, the 55 and the 13. This is not the first time that they have met out here on the racetrack, not the first time they have met on a short track. This race is now starting to heat up.
Yep, like I said, Brandon probably did a little bit of a better job saving his tires, and Truth, as we saw, was really fighting a tight condition through these corners. And Brandon's looking to his inside coming out of turn 4 here, and he's going to make a battle for this lead.
Yeah, Truth is not going to give that up too easily. As you can see now, holding that outside line, he does not want to allow Brandon to get ahead of him. And if Brandon does pass him, he's wanting Brandon to use as much of that right front tire as he possibly can. Truth is going to make that happen. That's going to tighten the 19 car back up to this to make this a 3-way battle for your first position here, 36 laps into this race.
19 is definitely stalking right there. He is watching these guys go side by side saying, come on, just mess up a little bit.
And you can tell now this car on new tires that is in 5th position in your line here in that 41 machine is probably going to play a role here, as with those new tires he's coming in. We're going to be interested to see what he can do here, because I do think they're going to have to get back in line, let that 41 go by, and then just keep this race here waging on.
Yeah, he's going to play a big factor in this whole battle for the lead right now, because he's 7 laps down, but he's clearly on a lot fresher tires, and they're going to have to either headway for him, or he's going to have to kind of wait for them to settle this battle out.
He wants to get a lap back the old-fashioned way. As you can tell, right now he is 7 laps down on the field. You can see that on the left-hand side of your ticker. Brandon Honeycutt making that pass for the lead. Now, Truth Hoke really driving that car in. I do believe that's going to cost him the 2nd place, as he's going to drive up, get that thing pushed all the way up against the wall. 19 car underneath. 41 of Aaron doing a fantastic job letting these guys fight it out. But Sean Dunaway is now starting to stalk both of these drivers. He is trying to get himself into a podium position early on in this race, as these two having to battle it out has allowed him to catch back up.
And it's also allowed Brandon Honeycutt to kind of check out. He's up to almost a 1.5 lead now.
Honeycutt with a great tire-saving strategy early on in this race. I do believe you're going to start to see some drivers come in. If this continues to go green at lap 60, I would assume that the smart thing to do, if you do not have the fuel to run this thing out, is you are going to pit and just cut this in half if at all possible. So he's got about 21 laps to go before he thinks about doing that. But we are having a battle here, as Dunaway now passing Truth Hoke. That's going to put Hoke back to 4th position. Looks like he got out there early, hurt those tires, and it looks like he is starting to struggle now, as he is going to come under fire by Sean Merriman.
Yeah, Truth had an outstanding start to this race. Really stretched out a good lead, but it was like maybe he used up a little bit too much of his tire early on, and kind of paying the price for it now.
Yeah, and it looks like, and we're going to go into the pits early. So now what we are going to do here is he is going to try to split this. Sean's going to try to split this on a 2-stop. So he's going to go 40, 80, and then 120. So this is going to be a very interesting development here. As you can see, the 19 car heavy into the wall. That is probably going to cost him 2nd. I do not see a lot of damage on the right-hand side of that car, but he hit pretty hard. But I believe that these drivers here in the top 5, they're going to try to hold on to lap 60.
Yeah, it's a stretch. It'll be interesting to see how how the two-stop strategy plays out versus a one-stop. If these guys are going to try to stretch it out to lap 60, but it'd be interesting to see the difference in the strategies if we do have two different types of strategies playing out here.
Yeah, Honeycutt up to a 1.8-second lead now. Dunaway underneath of Cody for that second position. I do believe he is going to get that pass done, as we have saw Cody really drive by the seat of his pants tonight. He is going to hold off Sean, as a matter of fact, and really keep that high line moving. But that driver has been nothing short of exciting to watch, as he has had that car sideways up against the wall, but certainly moving forward. Put him in second position, Sean in third.
Yeah, he's driven the wheels off that thing, and like you said, he's been loose, he's been tight, he's been in the wall, but he hasn't wavered. He's still running strong in P2 there.
Yes, he is. Andrew Teff now starting to join this battle. As you can see him inching in ever so slightly. He is in fifth position. And it don't look now, but Jesse, Lee Campbell, all of these drivers, really starting to catch back up as we get some tire wear. But it looks like from Sean Merriman, you can see on the left-hand side, from ninth on back, they are going to decide to two-pit this race, and we're going to try to keep a hold of their lap times. Let's see if we can take a look and see where Sean last lap turned a 31.69, Honeycutt with a 32.02. So, whoa, and as we say that, Jesse is going to choose to come down pit road along with Lee Campbell to get some tires.
Might not be a bad idea. I mean, if most of this field decides to do a two-tire stop, or make this a two-stop race, it may be a benefit. Of course, they may. And here comes Brandon Honeycutt. Must be everybody's got to make a two-stopper here.
Yeah, they're going to have to two-stop this. That is going to turn that race lead over to Sean Dunaway. Now, before he came in, Brandon with already a 3-second lead on this field, so really saving those tires, doing a fantastic job on the back end, of being able to gain some speed. He was about 2 to 3/10 of a second faster than these other drivers. So now the question becomes, how long does Sean wait? Is there any driver that is going to try to cut this thing in half, or did that early pit stop by Merriman kind of start to force the hand of these other drivers?
That very well could be, John. They always say, once that first car comes, it starts putting different thoughts into your head. You could have a strategy going into a race, and then that could all change by one or two drivers' decisions.
Yes, it can. I wanted to take a look. As you can see, Honeycutt coming out in front of your leader. So once this gets cycled out, he is certainly going to be your leader. But the question is going to be, can getting on and off the pit road, as we are now, Sean is going to stay out. We're going to be 48 laps. I believe he's going to try to make this to 60. Brandon deciding to come in and going to two-stop this race. Sean, it looks like, is going to stretch it as far as he can. Either one, hoping for a caution, or two, that original plan is to pit at lap 60.
Yeah, a lot of these races, you see guys trying to split it in half, and it may not be a bad strategy if you could do so without losing an insurmountable amount of time in doing that. You got 12 laps before halfway, before lap 60. Is the time lost versus the laps going to be too much in the end of the race?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. I think we're going to see this thing play out. Andrew Teft is now going to be your second place driver. Truth Hoke getting passed by Andrew, now back in third position, as it looks like that driver, one, hurt those tires a little bit early, or two, backed off a little bit to try to save some fuel. But it does look like Truth might be coming down pit road here with 50 laps in, so he's going to be about 10 laps short of being able to split this thing right down the middle. Sean Dunaway, still your leader right now, has not come down pit road, nor has Andrew Teft. So, again, your top two drivers, we got about 17 seconds back to that 80 machine, but your top two drivers yet to pit. We are on lap 50 of 120. Going to be extremely interesting to see what they do here, Russ, is if they can cut this thing in half, I do believe they're going to have about a 40 to 50 second gap on those drivers that are going to have to come down one more time.
Yeah, they have a 65% fuel load in these cars to start the race off, and I'm not 100% sure how many laps they're able to get out of a tank of fuel, but if he's able to stretch it another 9 laps and split it in half, that'd be great. But it looks like he's going to come down too.
Yeah, he is not going to be able to stretch that machine coming down on lap 52 of 120. I was just looking at the lap times. It looked like Honeycutt was running about sub 31s at about the 30.9 last lap, and it looked like Sean was running right in the 32s. So they were quite a bit faster, well over a second faster per lap. As you can see now, this driver is going to come down pit road. That is going to turn this thing over to Andrew Teft. And again, as we continue to speculate on what is going to happen here, Andrew's going to come back around, put 53 on the board as your leader. Let's see if we can go on to into the pit or the cockpit of Andrew. I want to see if he is trying to clutch, Russ, maybe trying to let off early, save some fuel. Yes, you can hear him clutching there.
I was just going to say, he's been sitting back and in fifth for most of this race, and I was wondering if maybe he was going to try a fuel strategy, try saving a little bit of fuel, make it a one-stop race. It could be a huge benefit, especially if he's the only one that's able to make it to the halfway point of this race and only have to one-stop it.
It is going to be interesting to see that last lap by Andrew Teft by having to put his foot on that clutch and try to save some fuel. A 32.63. Honeycutt's going to be in second position. He's about 21 seconds back, but he is running 31.19, so over a second and a half faster. However, that time down pit road is a major downfall for these drivers. They have to slow down to that pit road speed, sneak that thing into the pits, make sure that they have a good exit, get themselves back up to speed, where Andrew's going to have to do that once. These drivers have to do it twice.
Yeah, the big thing you got to watch out for is coming out on this track with those fresh tires. When they're cold, they're slick, and even though we have a 92-degree track temp right now, you got to be very, very careful on your throttle inputs for the first couple of laps coming out here with these fresh tires, and you don't get loose, spin it out.
Yeah, Andrew Teff's staying out there on the track now, Russ, at 57. I do believe that he knows that he's going to be able to make this thing to 60 and be able to come back out. Now, you look at Honeycutt down 18 seconds to that leader, but again, he is going to have to come in one more time. So this is going to be an extremely interesting race if this thing goes green to the very end on how this is going to happen. Does look like Andrew now coming down. He is going to have to come into the pits, and Russ, that looks like he's going to be about 3 laps short from being able to make this. He'll have to run 63 laps on the back end.
Yeah, we'll have to see if if he's able to. Maybe he was able to figure out how many laps he was able to save later on in that run, and maybe he thinks he can still make it to the end without having to stop again.
Yeah, it is quite possible. But now turn that lead back over to Brandon Honeycutt. He is going to have a 2.5-second lead on Sean Merriman. Sean was one of your first drivers to come down pit road, and we can start thinking around lap 80 that we're going to start to see Sean come down, because I believe he was there about lap 40, 41. So at about lap 80, you can see Sean. That's not a bad strategy, as he has come back out in second position. So he was able to jump Cody Truth and Sean Dunaway to get himself into second. But don't look now, because Cody is starting to narrow that gap. Now down 5.5 seconds to Honeycutt, as Honeycutt continues to put quick lap after quick lap down.
Yeah, and it comes down to that making that second pit stop too. There's also a little strategy in there too, is there's the possibility of do you take 2 tires on that final stop, make it a little bit of a quicker pit stop than taking 4, or do you go ahead and take all 4 tires? We'll have to see how these guys pull that one out.
That's really a good strategy as well, because if you do take 2 tires, is that going to loosen these cars up as they're a little bit pushy, or is that going to make them too loose? So that could be a strategy. Whoa, you see that 80 car of Jarrett getting loose on the exit. being able to really hang on to that car. That's one of the great things about this Xfinity car, folks. If you drive that next gen, you know that thing gets about as sideways as that 80 car got there on the exit of two. That car is going around. You're able to save these Xfinity cars just a little bit, but they are a little bit more unpredictable to me anyway than what that next gen is, especially through the center of the turns and on the exit.
Yeah, I've driven the Xfinity, I've driven the next gen, I've driven the truck, I've driven just about everything here on iRacing. The one NASCAR series car that I actually have not been able to figure out very well is this Xfinity car, John. It's very temperamental. It could be super. Oh, as we see the 41 hard into the outside wall there. It could be temperamental. It could be loose. It could be tight. I just have not been able to figure this car out, and I'm glad I'm sitting here watching these guys instead of out there trying to fight with them.
Yeah, and I will tell you this track will really bring a lot of that a lot of those issues to the forefront as it is tight in, loose out. So it kind of gives you the worst of all of the worlds of that Xfinity car. These drivers are doing one heck of a job being able to handle that. As now you can see Sean Dunaway starting to put a lot of pressure on the back end of Truth Hope. This was your leader, your pole sitter that led most of the first half of this race. Now getting a lot of pressure here for the fourth position. And we're going to continue to go through this field as it looks like now we have a great battle here. Jesse Fox sitting in your seventh position. Curtis Ecker right behind him in eighth. He is looking to continue to move up as just a paper clips difference between these two drivers.
Yeah, we're just past halfway, and we still got good battles going on. And these guys, they don't give up. They just keep on pushing.
Yes, they do. Jesse Fox really doing a nice job tonight, and so is Curtis Ecker. Now, you could tell Curtis was running that extremely high line a little bit earlier on in this race, so he is able to learn quite a bit. He has started to move himself back down that this racetrack and run a little bit safer line as he had touched the wall a little bit earlier, actually a few times as he was battling some of those other drivers. Right behind him is your driver that stayed out as long, if longer than anyone else on the track, and that is Andrew Teft here in the 98. I want to take a quick peek, Russ. I want to see if he is already saving to try to get this car to 63 laps before the end of this race. And he is already, his plan here is to win this thing on fuel mileage as he is clutching already. But one of the great things that you can see from Andrew here with those fresh tires, still a faster car than the drivers in front of him while he is saving fuel.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, he's saving fuel, but yet he's still setting fast laps out there. This this is a bold strategy, but man, it may just pay off for him in the end of this.
It is quite possible now, as you can see these drivers 65 laps into this 120 lap race. Brandon Honeycutt, we're going to come right back up to this lead. The 80 car that we saw extremely out of shape earlier, a little bit fresher tires, starting to put a lot of pressure, wanting to get a lap back. He is only one lap down here, Russ, so really important for him to fight Brandon pretty hard to get himself on this lead lap. That way he doesn't have to take the wave around, can get in the pits if there were to be a caution.
Yeah, absolutely. As the first car lap down, you never want to really let that leader get too far out of sight. Just because he's there, you don't want to just let him go. You want to fight. You want to be able to get that pit stop, not have to take that waiver out and lose that opportunity should the caution come out.
Yeah, and it does look like, if I'm Brandon, I have about a 4-second lead up on Sean. As it now we look, and Cody, this 19 car, coming for second position. Oh, and the 18 going to get loose. They are going to get tight coming down this backstretch. 19 car is going to take that spot. So put Cody up to second. What a great run so far tonight. I'm really impressed with the way that he has wheeled this car around. He doesn't care if it's sideways. He doesn't care if it's pushing. He is going to drive this car to the front if at all possible, and he is doing a heck of a job tonight.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. He's been loose, he's been tight, he's been in the wall, but he's still in the fight right now and running the P2. Having a phenomenal race, John.
Yes, he is. Now, this battle is heating up just a little bit here. Lee Campbell, Jesse Fox starting to fight. We saw Curtis Ecker on the back end of the 69 of Jesse Fox just a few laps ago, and it does look like he has fallen back about 2.6 seconds behind this battle, as now Jesse starting to move forward, putting pressure on the back end of Lee Campbell. So this race is heating up here for seventh place.
Great battles going on all around the track right now, Joe.
Yeah. So let's go on to Cooper in this 30 machine. You know, the Need sponsor 30 car, as he has really put together a nice little race. He is right now 11th position, one lap down. But again, if we go to the 80 machine, and let's see if we can go back up to Honeycutt. As you can see, Honeycutt now starting to put a little bit distance through the. I would assume that the best fan of this 80 car right now is going to be your 30 machine. If the 80 gets by, that puts the 30 into the lucky dog position. So I'm sure he is rooting him on to get past Honeycutt, but it does look like Honeycutt starting to put a little gap there. Now 4.3 seconds back to Cody in second place.
Yeah, Brandon's just kind of settling in and running his own race right now, just trying to maybe manage his tires, manage his fuel. And, he obviously has to come down again to make another pit stop anyway, but, just trying to manage his gap right now is one of his biggest concerns.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Now, 4.4 seconds, 4.6 seconds on your timing tower on the left-hand side between him and second place, Cody Bonelli. So looks like Cody, even though he's making that pass, we're going to go right back here because it doesn't look like this battle is quite over, as the 18 has found a little something following this 19 machine. Now still only 0.2 of a second behind, but that 01 car is coming as well. Sean Dunaway, on a mission to continue to climb himself forward, has started to slowly reel these two drivers in. So this is quickly going to be a battle for second, third, and fourth. As you can see now, that 01 starting to peek into the screen.
Yeah, I'm watching how these guys are attacking these corners, and kind of interesting that they're kind of running two different lines in the corners. Like, I'm noticing the 18 having to run kind of like a diamond arc in the corners through one and two, and he's running in just a little bit higher in three and four, and then exiting low on or coming out of four. So two different or completely different lines on both sides of the track, and seems to be paying off as he's still up there battling right now.
Yes, he is. But now I will tell you, Sean, one of your quicker cars on the track right now. Sean, last lap, turned a 31.96. The driver right in front of him, Sean Merriman, at a 32.25. So he is certainly a bit faster. He was faster than even Brandon Honeycutt there that last lap at a 31.98. So these drivers extremely close in lap times. It looks like 18, but now keep in mind, Sean is probably trying to hold on here for about 5 more laps. He was your first driver to come down pit road, and I believe you are going to see him as your first driver to do that again. 76 now. Look for him to really think about coming down at about lap 80 and leaving himself 40 laps to a run to the end of this race.
It's really interesting how he was that first car on pit road. He's obviously out there on the oldest tires, but yet he's still quick and he's still making passes up towards the front of this field, and he's still got to come back down again.
Yeah, he's done a really fantastic job. As now Sean Dunaway is going to take that position over, put this 01 machine in third position. He is now going to try to track down the 19 car, who continues to lose time to Brandon Honeycutt. Brandon, even last lap, a 32.04 to a 32.21 of Cody. So he is about 0.2 a lap faster, but now Sean Dunaway at 32.07, extremely close in lap times to Brandon Honeycutt. So another fast driver out on the track, 0.2 a lap faster, even that last lap, than what your second place driver is. So look for this 01 to continue moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, he's on about 5 lap older tires than what Brandon is, and he's still out there running quicker laps. I mean, it's a testament to his ability, and maybe towards the end of this thing, it'll get those fresh tires on and the field evens out. It might be a factor here at the end of this thing too.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen. Is oh, the 18 is going to get up in the wall, just overdriving the entry a little bit. And look again as we're coming through lap 78. I do believe you're going to see Sean Merriman come down at around 80 if this thing holds true, and he's trying to split this in equal segments. So he only has a few more laps left on those tires, and I would think, Russ, if you come back out, you're this 18 machine, you're going to throw caution to the wind here. Come back out, make the most of those fresh tires, turn as fast of a lap time as you can, try to get ahead as far as you can from second, third, and fourth. But we will see what happens here in one lap.
Yeah, absolutely.
01 still starting to sneak in on the 19 little by little. Last lap time. Brandon Honeycutt, your fastest driver out here on the track outside of Ryan Coker that just went into the pits, but with a 31.89 last lap. Your second fastest of Sean Dunaway at a 31.97. So this driver's really saved his tires, done a fantastic job. He is quick, but about 6 seconds behind your leader.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens once these second rounds of pit stops take place. Like we said before, you're back there in P6 at number 98, Andrew Teft. He is obviously going to try to make this thing on one stop. And, with these guys making two stops, are they going to be able to be out there far enough to where they could catch him back up at the end of this thing while he's on older tires than they are? Or is he going to be able to pull this thing out on a one-stop deal?
We're going to go back and check in at Andrew. Now, he is up to sixth position. I do believe that this driver is still, and as we had predicted, here comes your driver here. Sean is going to come down pit road. That is lap 80. He's going to click over to 81. So 39 laps to go here in this race. So he is breaking this up into exact segments. Curtis Ecker also in. You can see him, the 41 machine coming in behind him. Jesse Fox even behind him. So you can tell these pit stops are starting now. Brandon Honeycutt still turning laps. And I really think Brandon's in a great spot. He's 6 seconds ahead of the second place driver. He doesn't need to push anything. He can wait until Benelli makes a pit stop, and then he can go in that next lap and still have the best tires out of these top three drivers.
Yeah, I think that first round of pit stops, Brandon, I think he ran about 3 to 5 more laps than the group that came to begin with. So he can go to about maybe 85 or 86 before we might see him jump down pit road.
Yeah, he is in a really good spot, and not only is he in a good spot, but if I'm Brandon, I noticed that Andrew Teft, that 98 machine, staying out as long as he could. So what I'm going to try to do is keep these old tires on as long as I can. That way I can push with everything that I have for the end of this race. So now you can see Brandon Honeycutt coming down pit road. This is going to tell everything here, Russ, as you can see now the 80 machine coming down as well. But we're going to turn that race over to the 19. Cody going to stay out another lap, and then you can see Sean Dunaway is right behind him as well. So that battle for the lead starting to heat up, but this is going to tell you everything about how far behind Honeycutt is going to be to Andrew Teft once these pit stops start to happen.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. He took me by surprise when he came down as early as he did. I figured he would go at least another 2 or 3 more laps, but a little earlier than what I anticipated. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that gap is to Andrew Teft when he comes back out.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that. As you can see, Cody still out here leading laps. Sean Dunaway right behind him. They're going to choose to stay out a little longer than what Honeycutt did. I do think that that's going to hurt this 19 and this 01 machine. If I saw Honeycutt come in, I think I'm coming in that very next lap or even that same lap. As you can see now, Sean is going to come in. So put that 01 machine back down pit road. And again, Sean Merriman, with those fresh tires right on the back end of your leader, he is going to get that lap back right now. Wow, this is going to shake out to be a bit crazy. It does look like, to me, Andrew Teft still out on the track, 14 seconds behind your first place driver, but only about 12 seconds ahead of Brandon Honeycutt. I just don't think that Andrew is going to be able to save that amount of fuel and be quick enough to hold off Honeycutt.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe he was saving early so that he could go hard at the end when Honeycutt was start. Maybe he's going to start to catch him. We'll have to see how this plays out, but it's going to be interesting either way.
Yeah, having to save so much fuel. I believe when he came in, he had to save what about 3 laps, and run 63 to the end of this thing. He potentially could have that knocked out, but you can see now Andrew really only about 10 and a half seconds ahead of Honeycutt. This is the bed that he made, though. This is the decision that he made, so he is going to ride this thing out. Now, this could wind up being a fantastic call to put himself on a podium, but it does look like Honeycutt is going to start cutting into this lead by at least half to a full second a lap. And with these amount of laps that are left, I just don't think he can hold him off.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens when it comes down to it. I mean, we still got 32 to go here, and we don't know if maybe Teff's strategy is to just continue to save until Honeycutt catches them, and then go, or maybe he was just going to ride it out and figure for a podium.
Yeah, and as we just run this order down, you see Truth Hoke last lap going purple. Truth turning a 30.78, so plenty of speed left in this 55 machine, as he is going to be sitting in 6th spot. He is not that far behind the 19 car, but turning purple your last lap. But as we go back up here to your leader and Andrew Teff, last lap turning a 32.68 to a 30.94 of Brandon Honeycutt. So about 7/10 now on your relative, 6.6 seconds behind. So, we've got a little over 30 laps to go, Russ. I don't know if he saved enough. Now is go time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got that lead down to about 6 seconds. You want to be able to manage that. Or you don't want to let Brandon get up there to a second or even really 2 seconds, because Brandon's got the ability that he can run you down really quick. And so if you've got anything left in there, you need to start going now.
Yeah, Jesse Fox right behind your 98 driver. It does look like he is going to push, try to get that lap back. He should have the tires to be able to cut underneath of Andrew here and not slow any of these drivers down. Curtis Ecker right behind that 69, and these two drivers have been battling all night long. And we're going to go right back here to these two. So 69 and Curtis have found themselves attached to each other after every one of these pit stops. So nice little battle here on the track for ninth and eighth position.
Absolutely, they're still fighting with each other. 92 laps in, they want these positions.
Yeah, Curtis taking a really lower line. He almost dipped those left side tires below the yellow or below the white line, which was pretty interesting to see that car. Because, once you unload that left side of the car, it can really upset it. But it looked like he handled that very well. He is running an extremely low line, just something different than you normally see here at this racetrack. So I appreciate that he is out there searching for a line to get any speed that he can. As now you see Jesse starting to go extremely low on the exit of these turns.
Yeah, this late into a race, you got to start searching around to try to find something that nobody else has found to try to make up whatever you can get here at the end of this thing. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're searching around, trying to see if they can find something last minute to make some last into the race passes.
Yeah, so as we look at Andrew Tefton at 98, you can start to see that second place driver of Honeycutt behind now 1.5 seconds. And honestly, there's really nothing that Andrew can do here. He still has to save fuel. He's still having to push that clutch in. There's nothing he can do to fight off Honeycutt. I do believe this is Honeycutt's race to lose here at this point. The question is going to be, can Andrew somehow squeeze enough fuel to keep himself in a podium position, as now we're only down to half a second. Here comes your battle for your lead, 25 laps to go.
Yeah, he went 56 laps before his first stop, and he's got to stretch it to 63, which is quite a long ways to go to make it to the end of this thing. But if you saved enough fuel come the end of it to see you can hold on.
And there you have it, a honeycut underneath. Not a whole lot of drama is going to go on. It does look like Andrew's going to try to fight back just a little bit on the right-hand side, but nothing he can do. He has to push it on the clutch. He has to save fuel. So that pass, there's nothing that Andrew can do but just try to hold on, save the fuel, and start working that gap, because he does have a 7-second gap back to your third-place driver now of Sean Dunaway. Sean able to get ahead of Merriman. But this fight is not over. Merriman's going to dive down. The two Sean's going at it, finding another line. Now, don't forget that 19 machine of Cody right behind them. So we, with 24 laps to go, have a battle for your last and final podium position here.
Yeah, great battle going on between these three drivers. See them each trying to run a little bit of a different line to try to find some kind of an advantage here. But great battle late in the race.
Yeah, Cody finding a good line underneath of Merriman. Merriman not really having a choice. He will have the older tires of these two drivers, but now you take this driver that has been wheeling this machine out on the razor's edge all night long. He is going to have to run this 01 car down that has been saved entire. This is going to be a monumental task, but it looks like he is not holding anything back here, Russ. As you can see him really pitch that car into that turn, trying to find everything he can find to get ahead of him. Even Dunaway in the 01 getting loose on the exit, so he's pushing this car.
Laps are winding down, and it's time to go, John. You know, the 19's been wheeling this thing all night, and no need to stop now. Let's keep going. You see him in the wall.
Yeah, it is crazy. Now, Curtis Ecker underneath of Jesse Fox is going to make that pass, and wow, he is going to get super close to Jesse, trying to close that door off, coming in low. Jesse's going to follow him low. Both of these drivers driving an extremely low line through this track. And it looks like this fight is going to wage on here for your 8th place. Jesse now in 9th. Curtis making that pass just a little bit earlier before we tuned into them. But it looks out now. Curtis, again, down onto the apron, finding a different line than anyone else around this track.
Now, I wonder if him going down there to the apron like that is helping him get more turn off the corner there. Because, I mean, that's kind of a unique line to run, and I know some guys have done that in the past to help them get a little bit more rotation through the center and off the corners. So I wonder if maybe he's fighting just a little bit of a pushing problem through 1 and 2. But he's looking for that little extra advantage.
20 laps to go ahead of them. Andrew Teff trying to save some fuel. He's about 4 seconds ahead of them. Cody trying to find a way around this 01 machine, as you saw him dive down, as soon as we went back live with these two drivers. And you can see him really every single inch of this track trying to find a way around. So he's going to dive down now below this 01 car. Oh, and he just cannot get the drive off of that turn. He is going to come out side by side, but I just don't think he can make that. Sean with a great defensive line. Now he's going to try to wash up and put a block on him.
Let's say slide job.
There he is, slide job. Sean Dunaway choosing to go down below him, try to do a crossover, not able to make it happen. Put the 19 driver back into 3rd position. What a fantastic race here for your top 3.
Absolutely, that was a really bold move by the 19. You know, he had that run through the previous corner, couldn't quite get it done. He said, "I got to send it off in here, and I'm hoping I can clear the nose of that 01 car." And he made it work.
Somehow he made it work. Sean might have given him just a little bit. Oh, and the 19 extremely loose, just driving the wheels off of this car. Coming out of that turn, that is going to allow Dunaway to continue to get to his outside. This driver is hungry. We have not seen a driver really this hungry this season. But, man, Cody in that 19 machine turning this thing loose, wheeling this car around this track. He doesn't care if it's loose or tight, Russ. He is going for it.
Absolutely. If that was me being as loose as he was, I would have wound up in the inside wall. So hats off to him for being able to hold on to that thing.
Man, what a fantastic drive by this machine, this 19 car. Cody Putinelli really putting on a show. Sean, I believe, is sitting back here in 4th just thinking, man, I still have 16, 15 laps to go. I do believe that this driver is going to continue to wear those tires out, so I just have to be patient. But I will tell you, Cody's still running some fantastic lap times, even loose on the exit of that turn. He doesn't really care here, Russ. He's just turning it loose.
Yeah, we've seen it time and time again throughout his entire race. Where he's been loose, been tight, and still been fast. So he's definitely wheeling this car, and he can get it done.
Yeah, into the wall on the exit of 4 as he is now running down Andrew Teft. Sean right behind him, not letting him get away, but now this 19 car starting to breathe down the back of the 98 of Andrew. Andrew probably having to clutch still with only 15 laps to go. Not a whole lot that he can do to hold these two drivers off. Cody now eyeing second position as now this gap is just almost into the same frame, getting a little gap between him and the 01. Now it is on for second place. Andrew having to stay up high. Cody working the bottom line. Sean not too far away. Looks like Curtis Ecker, unfortunately, having to go to the pits. He is going to be in pit lane. We saw that battle with him a little bit earlier. Let's go back up because I do believe that my timing tower might be wrong because he is still out on the track right in front of Jesse. So I'm not sure what happened to the timing tower, folks. I apologize about that. Curtis Ecker still out on the track using that bottom apron to get a lot of rotation off of that car, but we're going to come right back up here because nothing he can do. Andrew, again, older tires, trying to save as much fuel as he can. Not a whole lot he could do, letting Cody go by. The 01 is going to get by now, put him in fourth position. And it looks like Sean Merriman, Russ, in fifth, is not that far behind as well, about 1.2, 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, I think Andrew's strategy, it was, we said it was a bold strategy, and we wondered if it would pay off, but it looks like he's going to start falling into the clutches and falling outside the top 5.
It does look like that is what's going to happen. We have 11 laps to go. Andrew Teft now looking back to 5th and 6th position as that battle here is going to start heating up. As you can see, the 18 car, he is going to have your older tires on.
Oh! We got one in the wall. The 8 Ecker's in the wall hard.
Let's go back and take a look. No Curtis Ecker.
No caution yet.
I mean, almost rubbing the inside retaining. Oh, and yep, he is going to get loose. Keep it down below that line of the entry to pits, and that is what is going to keep the green flag going. What a shame. Great drive by him this entire race. Man, that's a heartbreaker there.
Yeah, absolutely. He was one of them first ones to start experimenting with a different line, running the way down there on the bottom. And he was making it work really well for him, but man, that was a tough break.
Yeah, that really is a tough break for him. He's doing a great job really finding a line that no one else was racing on. As now you can see the 18 of Sean Merriman going underneath of Andrew Teft. Again, Andrew, those older tires, really trying to sniff every bit of fuel that he can. Now falling back to 5th position. Truth Hoke is going to be right behind him in 6th. He is going to start battling Andrew very quickly for that 5th spot as he continues to fall back. But we're going to go back up here to the front as it does look like our battle for second position is going to continue to heat up. 9 laps to go. We are about 4/10 that's going to separate us between second and third spot. Sean Dunaway saving his tires. Cody up on the wheel, elbows out all night long. Out in front, 9 seconds ahead is Brandon Honeycutt. We'll cut to him really quickly. Not to really take anything away from him, Russ. He has really found a great line throughout this entire night. Saved those tires, has been your fastest driver throughout this race. So I can't take anything away from the fantastic drive that he has had tonight.
Definitely not. We saw the speed out of him early on, and he was patient. He saved the tires and put himself in a great position, up 9, almost 10 seconds now. He's just got to sit back, relax, hit his marks, run his line, and bring this thing home with a Good old fashioned 2-1.
Your battle for second place still hot, as now you can see that 41 car again. It does seem like by the end of these runs, that 41 right in the middle with fresh tires on some of these battles that are up front. But the 01 starting to eye this 19 car once again. He has caught back up. He has allowed this 19 to burn those tires down, but now we have 6 laps to go. He is going to have to find a way outside, inside to be able to get around this driver if he wants that second place.
Yeah, he's going to have to make a move and make it soon. Laps are winding down, and we said it earlier, it's not easy to make passes late in the run here, so he's going to have to see where he can possibly take a shot. He's going to have to take it soon.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to get off of these turns on the bottom of the track to stay beside of those drivers. And even if you do, that top line was such a great run going down these straightaways. I'm not sure if Sean will have enough, but he is going to give it a shot as he's going to follow in the tire tracks of the 19 machine through 3 on the exit of 4. We have 4 laps to go, and the 19 is going to get into the wall.
Not over till it's over. I mean, anything can happen here. We've seen it go flag to flag so far, and the 19 seeing that 01 not really going away, and he's having to push it just a little bit more to stay out in front of him. And man, anything can happen. But this is getting good.
Here he goes. He's going to shoot down to the inside the 19 with a little sideways exit on 2. He's going to get tight on the exit of 4. That is going to allow this 01 a great drive off of the bottom. Is going to shoot to the second position. Cody not going to give up. He's going to look below. Sean's going to close the door and count this race over, as it looks like Sean now with the better tires. Cody doing everything he could do. Just a little mistake on the exit of 2 getting loose, as they're going to come all the way up against the wall. And it looks like Sean now firmly in that second place.
Yeah, he was just sitting back there waiting for that opportunity. He's been watching that 19. He knows he's been getting loose, getting tight. He's just been waiting for that opportunity, and he found it right there and was able to capitalize, take over that P2.
Yes, he did. So put Cody back to 3rd, Sean Dunaway up to 2nd. But what can you say about this driver right here, Brandon Honeycutt in the 13 machine? This is going to be yet another win on the season in this Xfinity series here at New Hampshire. What a great run from start to finish. Like you said, extremely patient on that first stint. Second, taking the lead over on the first stint, coming down early, getting those tires 9 seconds ahead of your second place driver. Just an extremely dominating performance. Put this thing on cruise control, and here he comes to take the checkered flag tonight. New Hampshire Racers Elite on the Racers Elite Network. Brandon Honeycutt, your winner in this Xfinity Series race. What a great job by that driver, Russ.
Absolutely. I said it at the beginning of the broadcast. He was one to keep an eye out for. He was one of my picks, and yeah, he was strong all day. Got the job done when it came down to the end of it.
Yeah, what an exciting race. Fantastic battle here between this 01 and this 19 car. Really excited to talk to them at the end of this race. You're going to have Sean Merriman really a little bit off of the pits, about 4 laps off of the pit strategy of the other drivers, but finding his way into 4th. Truth Hoke is going to come in 5th. Andrew Teft making that fuel stretch, getting that top 10 in 6th. Lee Campbell in 7th. Jesse Fox is going to be in 8th, Jarrett in 9th, and then your 80 car is going to come home in 10th.
Yeah, I think Kirby Wayne Scott, they're going to bring it home in P11. 24 going to come home in P12. Oh, excuse me. I just choked on my own spit there for a second. Aaron Roth, Aaron Marquette, and Curtis Heck are going to round out the field.
Yeah. So there you have it, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Brandon Honeycutt bringing home your win as he is going to burn this thing down. Well-deserved victory by this driver. First damage he's seen all night is hitting that inside retaining wall as he is doing his celebration. So great job by that driver. and we're gonna see if we can hide this, Russ, and we're gonna try to get some of your drivers up here. Um, and let's see if we can find out if Mr. Cody is going to be in our chat room or not. And we'll see if we can pull him up here. I don't see anybody here. Oh, Cody is here. So give me just 1 second. We're going to show the stats for Cody, and we're going to see if we can pull him up here in the booth. Cody, John, and Russ here in the booth tonight. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, well, I will tell you, we had a ton of fun watching you wheel that car around sideways, pushing. It didn't matter. You were going to burn every bit of tire that you had off. Looked like you were able to catch Sean early on in that last stint, run him down, get a good gap on him. Looks like maybe you lost a little bit of that right rear tire late. But and he was able to sneak back by you. But man, what a heck of a drive for you. How did your night go?
Man, I had a blast. I hated. I did. I actually got on the right front on entry a couple of times too much and burned it up. And on that last run, and Sean didn't, and he caught up to me, and I hate it. But man, that was a good race. Nobody had a chance at Honeycutt, but I went back and forth with both of the Seans a couple of times, and I mean, it was just a good time.
Yeah, it looked like Merriman kind of took that strategy of about 3 or 4 laps prior to everybody pitting. He come down pit road, so it looked like he was kind of yo-yoing the whole night. He would be a little bit quicker earlier on, and then you were able to catch him as those tires went on. But what I was really impressed with was your ability to really put that car out there on the edge and be able to save enough tire to be fast all the way through these runs and these stints. But and what a fantastic race by you and Sean here at the end of this thing. I hope you go back and watch the broadcast because it was a blast for Russ and I to call. And man, we'll turn it over to you and give your shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out Andrew for of course putting the group together here, and then Create Pensacola and Locals. It's a friend of mine's company I got on the car here, and then I mean, yeah, it's just a good time. Good racing by both of the Seans, and I'd like to have caught up to Honeycutt, but it wasn't happening. So I will go back and watch the broadcast because I want to see a little bit of that. But it was fun. This is my first time on this track with the new pavement, so it was neat.
Well, you did a fantastic job bringing that thing home in the third place. You were on the podium, and sometimes as a racer, you don't, you wanna have a fantastic finish, and you certainly did. But man, you like the racing even more, and you did have a fantastic race with those two, Sean. So congratulations on your top three.
Thank you much. Have a good one.
Yep. So there is your third place driver of Cody Bonelli. Turning in a fantastic performance. We're going to see if we can grab a hold of Sean. It does look like he has popped into the waiting booth. So, Russ, I will grab him, bring him in, and allow you to do the interview. Give me just a second. So, Sean, John, and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
All right. I'm
Hey
going to turn it
man,
over to Russ because he's got some questions for you.
hey man, we were watching that battle between you and Cody there for the last, you know, 25 laps or so of this race. We saw, you kind of you got to him, then you kind of laid back a little bit. Were you watching him getting loose and then getting tight and just saying, I'm just going to wait for him to make a mistake? Or were you trying to strategize a way like, okay, how am I going to get past him clean? Because you guys were battling. You guys had a great battle for the whole last quarter of that race.
Yeah, no, I know this track in particular, tires are going to matter at the end. So just staying patient, not really overdriving. I was watching Cody, unfortunately, doing some of that overdriving. So I was just waiting for him to wear out those tires. And yeah, finally paid off on those last 5 laps there.
Yeah, that's what we were saying through the whole thing. It's like, you could watch him really wheel that thing, and he was getting loose, getting tight, getting in the wall, but he still was able to keep the speed. But man, at the end of this thing, you were able to take advantage of him getting into the wall there towards the end of it, and able to hold him off at the end. So great race by you to bring home that number 01 car in P2. We'll go ahead and we'll turn it over to you and give out your shout outs.
Yeah, for sure. like to thank my wife and my mom and stepdad for always watching, and then my cats for always trying to ruin my race.
We always have that one pet that's just a nuisance when you're racing, don't you?
Yeah, he likes to. So like right as I'm getting on iRacing, like it's like immediately he's like on my lap. So during qualifying, he's usually on my lap. During the first like 50 laps, he's usually on my lap. So
Well, even though you had all that going on, you still managed a great run. Good run tonight, man. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
yep, thank you.
All right, thanks, man. We
Bye.
appreciate that. So, Sean Dunaway, your second place driver, coming home with really one of the more spectacular races with about 10 laps to go at these short tracks. And I will tell you, what a great job by these drivers here, Russ, to really display such a fantastic amount of skill to go flag to flag, no cautions. Curtis, unfortunately, getting that getting loose and coming down the inside of that lane. But that was really the only trouble that we had here on track. Just a great job by these Xfinity drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Kudos and hats off to them. I mean, this track is very tricky to run. Like we said, it gets a little slick, it gets loose, it gets tight. You got to manage your tires, you got to manage your fuel, and these guys were able to do it without any kind of major catastrophe and went flag to flag and 120 laps. So it was a good race and really fun to broadcast tonight.
Yes, it was, and we will be back next week. This will be our first time on Racers Elite Network, hopefully with a quality stream that we have on Facebook, but we are still on YouTube, and we are on Twitch at Racers Elite Network. Make sure that you give us a like, thumbs up, follow. We certainly would appreciate that. If you are tuning in on Facebook for our very first broadcast, we certainly appreciate that too. If you want to do some racing here on Racers Elite, just make sure that you go to our website and you can message Andrew Teft there on Facebook, and he'll be happy to get you signed up and set up. We do have another season already scheduled, already planned out very, very soon. So if you want to jump in, now is the time to do that. Russ, you and I will be back next Tuesday night for some truck racing. But until then, man, appreciate everything you've done, and what a great race here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Looking forward to next week. Thanks, everybody.